There's more to just getting a job. If that's the end goal, then you're pretty screwed.
I knew what architecture studios are portrayed as, and I just wasn't quite getting it.
And there's like very minimal conversation between students and students.
Came in for an interview and it was just like instantly fell in love with the space first of all, but then
I felt like my architectural understanding 10x'd.
It's about sort of pushing yourself to do things that you don't sort of instinctively want to do.
Despite all the universities saying they teach you these things, they don't teach you these things.
It's everything I've wanted. Yeah, it was really great.
After 6 years of investigating architectural education and all of its issues, I think I found an answer. If you aren't already familiar with Archimarathon, Kevin Huey, the founder, is an educator, tour curator, and content creator. Having been following what Kevin and Andrew have been doing for quite a while during my education, when I found out that he had started his own student-focused studio, I was very intrigued. So I packed my things and flew to Melbourne to see it for myself. Straight away, it was so clear that this space had everything that a student could have ever wished for. Public transportation, proximity to the unis, coexisting with an award-winning architecture office, and much, much, much more. There was actually more to it than that. And so I immersed myself in the environment and then sat down with Kevin and some of the studio members to really understand what it was that made this place so special. Thank you, Kevin, for taking the time to do this interview.
Thanks for coming down to Melbourne.
So I wanted to come in today to kind of ask you how this all started and what the goal.
You want a long story or a short story?
The long story.
Andrew Maynard, of Austin Maynard Architects, he moved out of his office in Fitzroy and got this space on the other half of this space. And when he bought it, this half was suddenly it's for sale as well. It was undivided, and I went, oh, okay, you need someone here. So it's like, who can he get in?
How did you come across the Archimarathon Studio, and why did you decide to join?
I felt a little alienated. You know, people would basically, after class, just pick up the bag and run out the door, and that was it. After talking with Kevin face to face and just getting a sense for what he was trying to create, I was like, this is kind of what I need right now.
And so I thought, yeah, experiencing a sort of really close-knit community of studio culture would be really beneficial to me.
I guess the overall umbrella of architecture and how to teach it is quite broad. So
it's really good to get a different perspective on how different unis teach architecture.
And we can exchange our skills and our thought on our project. And I found that's also very encouraging as well.
I feel like that's what Kevin is trying to instill in us. And it's also just about this sort of like creating a sense of camaraderie and trust between the studio members.
It's what I believe tutors should be doing. It's almost like you're running a practice. Everyone's work that goes out the door should be good. And it's everyone else's responsibility to make sure it's good.
I know that I can show them my work without judgment and ask them, what am I doing? And then they can, you know, help me try and pass out exactly what it is I'm trying to do.
I kind of have to be a closet nerd about architecture most of the time, so it's good to kind of talk about nerdy stuff here.
Meanwhile, Kevin's still there, like listening in and jumping in, you know, when we do get a little off track, and it's more of a guiding hand.
So I guess what is the ultimate long-term goal?
Well, the long-term goal is to build the culture of a studio. The fundamental thing I do in everything I do, it's about social engineering. From tutoring to the Discord to the tours, it's about getting that culture, people together to have the conversation first and feel comfortable, and then the teaching kind of builds on top of that. Because without it, I don't think it really works. You need to spend time on building a culture.
Just having, you know, other people around in the space with you. If you're reading about something, someone goes, oh yeah, I know something about that. Here's this resource, here's this resource. You sit down, you talk about it, you get a much richer understanding of what it is.
Going back to university with that knowledge and seeing the recognition in them, going like, there's something, what is that, like where have you got that from?
I'm finding education at the moment is very transactional. It's like, okay, it's just another step. It's ticking the boxes. But the question is, well, what happens after that? The skills we're trying to teach here are the soft skills and the social skills that a practice will need, the leaderships, the thinking, the being critical thinkers and being able to manage and lead. That is not taught. We use their projects. The project is one thing, the output, but it's actually the strategy on how you learn those skills. Universities are great, what they're doing. They are with good intentions, they're good things they're doing, misunderstood often by students. And if we can change the mindset of students, hopefully you're going to get more out of the resources of the university than just ticking the boxes and getting through. And I think that has more impact than trying to change the university.
And you know what? After so many years of trying to do this as a student, I've kind of come to the same conclusion. Trying to change universities really isn't the solution. And that's why this is the end of the Critiquing Architecture School documentary series. As incredible as the Archimarathon Studio clearly is, it might only ever exist in one place. But a lot of the principles behind what they're doing can be adopted by us. We can come together and actually start to change the culture at a larger scale. So moving forwards, that's what I want to use all my platforms for. I mean, now that I'm basically done with my Masters of Architecture, I think it is about time to move on from looking at architectural education and to start looking at the bigger picture. Sometimes the short form content doesn't allow for a lot of depth, and that's why I've been working on this new long form sit down interview series that allows us to explore these different topics at greater lengths. To start off, I'm going to release this full interview with Kevin because it's filled with a lot of really great little nuggets of information. And then that will be followed up by the new series called Napkin Sketch, where I will basically sit down with people who are making a real difference out there to discuss what they're working on and for them to sketch their long-term vision. I'm very, very excited about this. Thank you so much for watching the Critiquing Architecture School series, and I guess I'll see you soon.